everyone, this is Elizabeth from Organized Chaos, and I'm back today to share another portion of the hashtag Plan My Whole Life music teacher planners that is also available separately in my store, the Teacher Entrepreneur Business section. And I feel like this is one of the most underused and maybe underappreciated parts of the planner, but also one of the most versatile parts of the planner as well. So I want to take you through some of the pages that are available in that section and talk to you a little bit about some of the different ways that you might use it, whether you have a small business that you manage yourself or not. So stay tuned, and I'm going to show you some of those pages right now. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to walk you through the various different sections of the business planner, but there are two parts of this planner section that I think are the most useful for the widest range of people. And the first one is these income trackers or what expense trackers or whatever you want to call them. They come, obviously, there's a page for every month of the year, and there's a space to write down a description of the item, and then write down the dollar amount for either the expense or the income for that item, and then you can add up the totals at the bottom. This is really useful for tax purposes, and I use these to track my business expenses and business income. But you can use this for just your regular income and expenses, just anything that you need to keep track of for your taxes or anything else like that. This is really useful to have. It's just easy to flip to that page in my planner and mark it down anytime anything comes up. So that's the first one. Then we get into some things that are specific for some specific kinds of what I'm calling different businesses. So this is kind of a recent addition, but I have there are several pages that are intended for private lesson teachers. So you'll see, and this is something that might be useful for other kinds of situations as well, but there's a place to write their name, and then up top you can put the dates, and then you can add up the totals here. So this is good if you have a private lesson studio and you need to write down which students have paid, and keep track of that here. Then there are a couple of different formats for writing down notes for lesson plans. And these are essentially the same as the rehearsal notes that you'll find in the music teacher organizer. I have a video on that section of the planner as well, which I'll link down below, so you can check that out if you are especially a music teacher who has some ensembles. But this is also useful for private lesson teachers so that you can keep track of each student's lessons on one page and see their progress through their different pieces that way. And then this one is for if you want to keep track of each student and they have several different pieces and you want to track each of those separately, then you can do that here. And again, this is something that I have in the music teacher organizer as well for ensembles. So same kind of thing. If you have one band that's earning 4 pieces, you want to track their progress, that kind of thing. But this is more intended for private lesson teachers. Then there are a few organizers that are obviously for people who sell things on places like TeachersPayTeachers or Etsy, or really anything that involves creating products to sell. So there's different places to track the fonts that you have and their terms of use, and clip art, same kind of thing. And then specifically for Teachers Pay Teachers, there's product upload checklist, which is really helpful if you're just getting started with something like that. And then there's a few pages, and by the way, I'm not showing all of the pages here. There are actually quite a few other things, but I'm just giving you some examples, especially in these specific areas of what kinds of things are included. For blogging, there are several different organizers as well. This is one that's for, regular postings that you do. Some people do a particular kind of post every month at the beginning of the month, or every Monday, or things like that. If you're having trouble keeping track of those things, this is a good place to note that. And then ideas for posts that you want to write in the future. And then there are several different formats of social media tracking forms in here as well, and this will apply to anybody who's actually trying to plan out their social media posts. But you can write down, especially this is the one that applies to blog posts, but there are other ones for other applications as well. So this one, you would write the title of the blog post and then check off the different places that you've shared it. So that you make sure that you're sharing it on social media. And then there's also something for long-range planning. So this could apply to any kind of business or any other sort of venture that you want to plan out long-term. But if you want to write down different holidays that you want to make sure you touch on, or things like that, this is a good one for that. And then I've also even included a planner for DonorsChoose. If you don't know, it's a place where public school teachers in the United States can basically get grants for specific items for their classrooms funded. And I use this quite a bit to get a lot of things for my classroom. So this is really helpful for keeping track, because there's a lot of parts to getting those projects funded, and you have to make sure you don't miss any deadlines. I mentioned that there were two parts of the business planner that I feel are really versatile for a wide range of people. The first one was the income and expense trackers that I showed you at the very beginning. The second is the set of pages that I'm going to show you right now, and these are the blank calendar templates, and there are quite a few included in this set. And again, I'm just showing you some examples here, but these are kind of the hidden gems, I feel, in the business planner section. I put them here because when you're trying to schedule out or write out on a calendar things for your business, I wanted to have those different flexible options available for private lesson teachers or anybody who has a different side business like this. But these are really useful for a lot of different things. So I have a blank, basically monthly calendar, and then a blank weekly calendar as well, which I use personally for two different things. I use this for, I co-parent with my daughter's dad. So this is good for keeping track of their regular visitation schedule. But I also use it in the summertime, and I'm just going to show you this really quickly. When I don't have lesson plans, this is what I use for my weekly planning, because it's very flexible, so I can just write in whatever I need to. In whatever format I want to. And it's a little bit fun to kind of break out of the usual lesson planning pages. So that's a weekly calendar. And then the rest of these are all different weekly calendars that are meant for different purposes, but you'll see that they're flexible. This one is pretty specific, but there's a to-do section, notes section, and then these are really for obviously people who sell on Teachers Pay Teachers and have that kind of online business. But there's a place to mark your goal at the top, your TPT items, your blogging items, social media, and then extra notes at the bottom. This one would be really good for private lesson teachers or people who need to write more of an hourly schedule rather than lesson plans. So you've got that top section again, and then those lines. So you could actually type or write in the hours of the day, or just kind of block times off as you see fit. And then an extra notes section at the bottom. This one is totally blank, so you could add lines in before you print, or you could leave it as a totally open box. And then a few different trackers that's a little bit more condensed weekly version for people who want to have a section separated out. So this is really good. I know some people use this in addition to the regular lesson planning pages, which I have, again, another video on. I'll link that down below, but here's an example of the one that I use called the Dated 5, which has space for lesson planning and life planning along the top. But this one you could use if you have a separate project, whether it's a business or private lesson studio or something else that you do that you really need to keep track of that you don't want to have in the regular calendar. You can use these, and these could be check boxes, these could be social media boxes, lots of different uses. I hope that gives you a better sense of what's included in the business planner section, and I hope that this gives you some new ideas for ways that you might use this depending on what you have to keep track of in your own life. You can buy the business planner pages that I just showed you separately, or you can find them included in all of the Plan My Whole Life music teacher planners. So I'll leave a link to the separate section as well as the teacher planners in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video useful, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up and let me know what videos you want to see me do in the future and what content you're interested in seeing. Follow my channel to stay up to date on any videos that I post in the future, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!